we are happy always to have you being part of active society. And thanks to all those who are sending messages. Grateful that you could share with me your kind thoughts. Well, BNFT this morning says AGRA, Ministry of Food and Agriculture, intensifies support for organic fertilizer as food insecurity grows, fear grows. Springfield wins again as Supreme Court dismissed ENI's request to halt 30% revenue to court registrar. Also, Green Republic calls for collective action to combat climate crisis, and we're preparing to plant another set of trees. But Green Republic is calling for collective action to combat climate crisis, where we must put our money where our mouth is. Government misses bond raising target by 28%. And that's Nanaya Osei-Dakwa, by the way, of the Green Republic on the front page. The Republic Press this morning says a Shireman District Court grants fried fish thief 10,000 cedis bail. Construction of Tema Tekwashi interchanges to commence in August, according to Amakwata, his Roads Minister. Otibo Atin's successor, Aldord. And showtime in MPP, a stage set for national contest. And Togbe Afede stirs trouble as his rejection of EX-Gratia increases calls for its abolishment. Galamsey Dawn has been caged. The Ghanaian Observer, Akufo-Addo's achievements in TVET unmatched. Vice President Bawumia says so. Akufo-Addo promotes responsible small-scale mining. NPP to hold National Annual Delegates Conference from July 15 to July 17. ITU Lords Ghana for Girls in ICT program. And Choir Fest shortlisted for a top award. The new publisher. Well, that's Tyrone Magai's father there. He's threatening to kill his son after they had a bloody fight. Chinese man jailed 15 years for alleged gold deal. EX-Gratia Togbe Afede has more money to refund, says Paul Adumotri. Well, the palace says Paul lied. Today, NPP regional elections, matters arising. Anti-LGBTQ plus sponsors cry over delay of passage of the bill. Open letter to President Akufo-Addo. New jobbing hint finds Otibo Boateng a successor. The Daily Statement. Government commits 155 million euros to rural broadband services. Also, massive boost for TVET education. Dr. Bawumia commissions $131 million facilities, vehicles. World Bank warns global economy faces stagnation, and NPP opens nomination for national executive elections. The Daily Graphic. 2022 Green Day, Ghana Lands Ministry targets 20 million trees on Friday. Hope we have money to plant. Nations Auto Hub losing luster. Floods push dealers out. MTN contributes 3.1 billion to national revenue. The Daily Guide this morning says man hires boys to abuse stepdaughter. Another word there. NDC cries over 2020 defeat. Money ritual girls safe, according to mother. One more dies from Apiati explosion. MPP ready for national elections. The Ghanaian Times. Danger looms on Malam Kaswa Highway as mud flow takes over Tobu Old Barrier stretch. And man killed, others injured in renewal of communal clash in Boku. Shops, schools, hospitals closed. Adolescents in Upper West region use polythene bags as condoms. Ebay. The Finder newspaper. Supreme Court dismisses ENI veto application. Well, same stories there. What's on the front page of the Custodian newspaper? Stephen Asamoah Boateng is the next MPP chairman. Asabi, that's what they say. National Cathedral to generate 95.5 million in 5 years. Oh, is that why we're pushing all the money there? Green Republic, Green Ghana ceilings not for sale. Lands Minister. Office One Pofo sabotages the Force Ahunto project. Official launch of the Ahunto project is there as well. Anyway, my guest this morning is the Honorable Al-Hassan Suhini. He is the Member of Parliament for the people of Tamale North. And also Davis Ansa Opoku is known as OPK. He's the Member of Parliament for the Impriso constituency. We'll be joined later by James Kwabena Bomfe. He's the Managing Editor of the National Forum. Take a look quickly at this and let's return to the conversation. Right. That's a conversation about the National Cathedral in furtherance of conversations about protecting the public purse. And one of the issues that have come up strongly is why and how monies have been voted into the, the construction of the National Cathedral, particularly when the initial conversation was that it was going to be largely based on donations and also private contribution. The only contribution that the state was going to make, if my understanding is clear, was that we're going to be afforded the land by the state, which of course has happened. Individuals have pledged monies, and there's even a USSD code towards that enterprise. Now we're reading from different quarters how monies were giving out there for consultancy's sake, monies were giving out there, seed money, and there's another seed money that's been given. Of course, conversations have been raised. And I've always said that if religion and spirituality steps into a matter, sometimes common sense flees. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Great. OPK. Been a long time.
Really? Was it last week? Last 2 weeks?
No, I wasn't here.
That was about 3 weeks ago.
3 weeks ago, yeah.
Like OPK. Kabila.
Yes, bro. You have abandoned your brother.
Good to see you.
Say
again.
You've abandoned your brother.
Oh, no, I don't abandon people. I'm not in the habit of abandoning people.
Okay, good to know.
I'm not in the habit.
Yeah.
Good. So, Ini,
Yes.
how you doing?
Terrific. Hope you are well too.
I'm alive. I'm greater than Accra.
You are blessed then.
Thank you very much.
Well, he just used a line I use on him off air.
Okay.
Yeah. And in my case, it's true.
He
has abandoned a brother.
I guess.
You don't want people to hear that.
National Cathedral and matters are rising. Now, some more letters are coming out suggesting that, contrary to the earlier promise or pledge not to have the states fully participating in funding the construction of it because it had become a matter of concern. In fact, Kabila had gone to court, raised those concerns, and the Supreme Court had made a decision on that. Why is the government pushing money into the National Cathedral at this time?
Let me say a good morning to our viewers, and also, Kabila, I've always maintained that he mentored us way back in UCC. The gentle, fine boy Kabila.
You didn't have the trouble, sir.
Oh.
I don't know why you are afraid to add that.
But I think first we need to appreciate the fact that the National Cathedral is really not really a place of worship as the impression is being created. It's going to be a national establishment where state functions can be held. I mean, you and I would agree that today the National Theatre, as we have it, do not even have the capacity to absorb large numbers if they need be. Today the state would have to resort, or have always resorted to, using large tents to host national events. So it indeed will not be a place where you would see Pastor OPK or Bishop Suhini or Archbishop Kabila each Sunday leading people to worship. It's going to be a national establishment where state functions can be held. So it belongs to the state. Yes, I mean, right from the onset, we thought that Ghanaians would invest in putting up such an edifice. But I think the state also has a responsibility to ensure that we complete this project on time, and to ensure that the state has a place where we can, as it were, hold major events. I mean, and so it belongs to us. I mean, it belongs to the state.
Is that the most judicious use of our scarce resources, as we have been told, that we need money?
Well, you see, Johnny, if you really would look at the benefit that the state will accrue, I mean, the state that will get out of this National Cathedral, you realize that it will be one of the prudent investment any government will make. Tourism is a huge revenue generation sources for any government. Today, go to the UK. In fact, I was in Hungary last year, September, and I visited most of their cathedrals. I mean, you'll be amazed, even the history behind it. Pictures that you see there, and the numbers that drive to these cathedrals will amaze you. So it tells you, I mean, it will add up to the tourism potential of our country. People would be coming in just to have a feel of what the cathedral is all about and drive tourism.
Well, you have not answered my question. I'm saying,
No, you asked of the benefits.
is that the most judicious use of our resources?
And I'm
at
telling
this
you,
time?
the long-term effect of putting up such an edifice. I'm telling you that today, I mean, we have had castles in our country that in those era, people would say that it is a complete waste of resources. But today, people visit Elmina Castle, people go to Cape Coast to appreciate the edifice as put up by the British.
The castles.
Well,
Relics of colonialism.
So are you saying that as a country, we should not be investing in some of these things that eventually would become national assets where people would want to visit and at least appreciate what Ghana as a people can do for ourselves?
Not when it is somebody's personal promise to God that if you make me win the elections,
it is not a.
I will build you a cathedral. The president said it himself.
Yes, but you see, the president is the president of the republic. He's president because we signed a social contract with him. If during his rounds, if during his electioneering rounds, he goes to make a promise that when you vote for me, I'm going to put up a national edifice.
No, he says when God makes him president.
No, please. God speaks through man. I mean, if God is going to make Akufo-Addo president, he does it through the terms of Ghanaians.
Right.
So if he says that if God makes him president, he's going to put up such an edifice, for me, he entered into some form of a social contract with Ghanaians. Can tell you, my mother voted for Akufo-Addo because of the National Cathedral.
So are you suggesting by this that if I also say, well, if you make me, what do you call it, president,
Yeah.
I will build, ultramodern schools, or I will build a personal museum for my late father.
And the Ghanaian people vote for you
vote
based,
for me,
based on that
then
promise.
I use state funds to build a personal museum for my father.
No, but how do you describe the National Cathedral as a personal property?
I'm picking the words of the president.
No, the president did not say he was going to build for his family. That on Sunday, you see President and Madam Rebecca move to that place to worship. That is not what the president
Danny, look for that video for me and let's play it for clarity's sake.
I am saying that edifice, when put up, will be for national use, unless you want to dispute that. That it's going to be for private use.
I hear you.
It will not.
Okay.
It's a national edifice.
I hear you. Sweeney, are we protecting the public purse?
Johnny, good morning again. Good morning to OPK and Kabila. My, okay, I'll leave it there. My senior brother.
Why are you all on Kabila's case this morning?
And then to our very good viewers, especially the good people of the Tamale North constituency. Johnny, I am almost beginning to sound like a broken record when I say that the incompetence, the cluelessness of this government is not even as disappointing as their audacity to look us in the face and just lie to us. I mean, if you respect people, you don't treat them like that. So that level of dishonesty that we see that they show is a mark of their disrespect towards us. And in these very difficult times that we live in, least we can expect from our government and our government officials is respect. If they can't even help ameliorate the suffering that we are going through, at least they should respect us and credit us with some modicum of intelligence. But when you catch their hand, they tell you it's their neck. Then you hold the neck and they say, no, that's the leg. Then when you hold the leg, they tell you, no, it's their waist. And you just don't know how to describe such level of disrespect. Johnny, you are talking about a cathedral that indeed, we have been told, was a personal promise. It did not feature in the manifesto of the NPP. I do not recall any platform before the elections of 2016 where it was made to seem, it was a promise.
There's a video of that.
No, I said before 2016. The video we all have seen, no, it's after 2016 when they cut the sword. I don't know the one you have.
Right.
It was before the elections.
That was the fundraising.
Exactly.
Video.
Before the elections, it was not a promise. In the manifesto of the NPP, you can't find it. But he reveals to us after he becomes president that this was a covenant that he entered into with God.
Right.
As a personal, if you like, sacrifice or, yes, that he was going to give
But
to
there was
God.
another layer of reason. The president said that so that it becomes, we have a national monument, and then also to thank God for his grace upon us as a country.
Yes, but I'm saying that this was not the reason why Nana Akufo-Addo was voted. So if anybody tells you that it was the reason why Ghanaians voted him, it's a lie. Because it was not in the campaign as we all followed it, and it was not in the manifesto. So it's a lie, first of all, to want us to believe that he's only fulfilling a campaign promise he made to the people of Ghana. That's not true. Secondly, we're told that this is not going to cost the taxpayer much, and that state funds will not be used to construct this, and that is going to be a private, fundraising-led project. They even went about to launch, fundraisers in Ghana and abroad. That and put together a committee of eminent, religious leaders to oversee it, and that the state wasn't going to do anything. Even then, Johnny, we said it was not accurate to say that the state was not going to fund it because the state was providing the land, and you know the cost of land in that area. Again, 21 townhouses that were less than 10 years old, that housed judges, houses that the state built, were pulled down to the ground, and the judges relocated. The cost of those 21 townhouses is cost to the taxpayer and the state. The cost of renting over $5,000 per unit for the about 21 judges and their families is cost to the state and the taxpayer. The passport office, which had just been renovated, had to be relocated to a new place. And I understand that we have spent close to 10 million Ghana cedis on the new place as a state. These are all costs to the taxpayer and the state.
So you don't see the tourism potential.
the Malian
High Commission, the embassy.
The residence of the Malian ambassador was demolished. A land replaced for that at airport. You know the cost of land at airport, and a promise to build a new residence for the Malian ambassador. These were all costs we pointed to and said you cannot say the state is not going to cost the state.
What
that was even
quantity
before.
did you put to that? all of these things.
You see, I don't even want to make a hazard a guess, but we all know the cost of a townhouse, even in Kaswa. Kaswa, we know the cost of a townhouse. At least we know the average cost of a townhouse. So put that 21 together. That was less than 10 years old. The Malian ambassador and the promise to build a residence. And many other institutions that I know, private institutions, I don't want to mention their names. They all had their lands taken and they are going to be compensated.
Bottom line.
Today, so far, what we have seen, Johnny, is that apart from all these things that I have mentioned, we have so far spent 244 million Ghana cedis on that project as a country. Based on the letters that we have seen so far, 244 million Ghana cedis. We are talking about the 32 million to Ajay, who, by the way, at the time that he was paid, his company was not registered to even do business in Ghana. So I don't even know how the tax agencies handled that, but he was paid. We have the 25 million that we have seen recently, also being additional seed money paid to the project. And then the one that you just showed us, the $25 million, that was also paid in 2020. And yet when you go there, it's just excavation. It's just excavation that has taken place.
You are not a building expert.
Now, I'm talking about how much we have already spent.
Right.
So you can imagine how much more we are yet to spend.
It's like a baobab tree. It grows downwards first before it springs up.
Well, but if the roots is already costing us this much, you can imagine what cost we should expect. 244 million Ghana cedis. Apart from the losses, because if you look at the townhouses, the Malian ambassador and the others, those are losses.
Don't you see the tourism potential? And wrap up on this so that Kabila can step in. The tourism potential we're talking about.
Do you know the tourism potential of the University of Ghana Medical Center? It's called health tourism. Linked to the Rich Hospital and the Bank of Ghana Hospital. Saving lives and also serving as, a tourism, potential for this country. Because people travel to Dubai, in fact, government officials to even London and others, to seek health and make those economies rich. Do you see the sense in putting that money to put up infrastructure such as the University of Ghana Medical Center that will let people travel from Nigeria, Liberia, and others to come here to seek medical care?
But it can't all be health tourism.
I'm just giving you an example.
Right.
Terminal 3, you have seen Nigerians come and use it and tell us people must come and see what Ghana is doing. I'm just using those as examples. I'm just using those as examples.
Cathedral.
But I'm talking, you see, he doesn't even get the point I'm making.
What point are you making?
Terminal 3 is helping us transport, increasing, and creating more jobs. The health facilities are providing health and saving lives, apart from its tourism, the tourism role it plays.
And you don't see that with the national.
You are just
cathedral.
talking about people coming and to worship God. You think they are going to leave Jerusalem or Israel and come and worship God at your Ghana cathedral that is put up through corrupt money and deception and dishonesty?
Okay. Thank you.
You think that's the kind of cathedral God wants?
Let's take a listen to a look at the video of President Akufo-Addo, at the fundraiser for the National Cathedral. We'll return. We'll have a conversation with Kabila, who had gone to court, raised questions about it, and also about the annual pilgrimage to Mecca, the holy city of Mecca, Hajj and all of that.
We must remember that caterers at the school feeding program are demanding an increase to just 1 cedi.
3 cities.
3 cedis. Yeah. Because currently they are given 97 pesos
that's right.
to feed our children in school. And government says they don't have money to give them 3 cedis. 3 cedis in today's Ghana, 97 pesos, what can it buy? Not even a liter of fuel.
Okay, Danny, play the video for me, please.
Who's unashamed of asserting my Christian faith as part of my political calling. It is this faith And this belief in God's power to transform difficult situations into beacons of hope that has animated my vision for me moving Ghana to a situation beyond aid and putting the country onto the road of self-reliance, sustained progress, and prosperity. Our march to a brighter future is underpinned by our firm attachment to a governance system that respects individual human rights and individual liberties, the rule of law, and the principles of democratic accountability. This faith is also the motivation for one of the major projects, which I have described as a priority of priorities, that we're undertaking in the country. This is the construction of the National Cathedral of Ghana, which first brought us to this venue 3 years ago in February 2019. The National Cathedral addresses a missing link in our nation's architecture by providing a formal space for the religious activities of the state. Designed by the iconic global Ghanaian architect, David Adjaye, who designed the National Museum of African American History and Culture here in Washington, D.C. The National Cathedral provides an interdenominational space for worship and will serve to insert God at the center of our nation-building efforts. We've integrated a Bible museum and biblical garden as part of the project. Dubbed the Bible Museum of Africa and Biblical Gardens of Africa, they extend the National Cathedral project, which will transform Ghana, over 70% of whose population are self-proclaimed Christians, into a major center of Christianity in Africa.
As President Akufo-Addo there, Kabila, a priority of priorities is the National Cathedral. Is it for you as well?
I refuse to answer that question in view of, the conversation, how you started it, and the contributions made by my two brothers. You know, it's a bit difficult when you sit among people who are advancing partisan interest. Having left that free. But we have a duty to, show that the people of this country reserve the right to even choose not to belong to any political party, and yet actively participate in the political process and make our positions and views known on matters. I'm particularly happy that the case I took before the Supreme Court has a lot to do with this recent conversation. And I would encourage people to read the decision or the judgment of the court in that case. I just shared with you the summary of the issues, the parties involved. My side, my lawyers, with my lawyers, and then the government AG. And the AGs settled on for determination. There were three. Whether or not the matter I had brought properly invoked the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court on its interpretive mandate, and whether or not government was right in doing what it was doing. And then the third leg was whether or not government was not crossing the borderline, in my argument, of a secular state entering the religious domain. It's quite tricky. And I've seen some, my counsel did an article on that just after we finished, Dr. Abdul Basit Bamba. And the conclusion was that this matter is likely to be revisited into the future of our legal discussion, because it was not conclusive. The Supreme Court declined the invitation to exercise their original jurisdiction of interpretation.
And why did they do that?
Because they said I didn't raise, my suit didn't raise issues, and they cited instances that created constitutional doubt, and that the provisions on which I relied to come were so clear that they did not need to exercise their interpretation.
There was no confusion.
Yes, there was no confusion. In fact, from a layman point of view, they should have struck out my case. They did not.
Why did they proceed?
Because it was delicate, and that decline for me was inappropriate. Because there's still ambiguity, and their judgment makes it clear. What worsens it is the posturing and the commentary from government on this whole matter. That has not been consistent.
What has been your...
You see, my brother Davis was struggling.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
He will disagree with you.
Well, he can disagree, but that's my view
What
of
you
it. He
saw,
was struggling.
right.
And I saw Sweeney also struggling to make a certain point, bringing in other things. Look, those examples were dealt with by the judges. This thing about other commitments, is that the most judicious? They dealt as if they knew that people would make that argument. They dealt with it. So it doesn't, that's why I don't want to go there. It's a bit very gray area. We don't need to go. At the end of the day, the president initially had this as a personal pledge to God. I know that there are times when personal pledges by individuals on the basis of mandate can metamorphose into a national priority.
So say that when it changes.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell the people.
Exactly. That's my point. That's why I'm talking about the consistency of government communication. Unfortunately for you, as a government, the decision of the Supreme Court, which is the reasonable judgment that we have all, in fact, the burden of judgment, according to John Rawls, that we have all subscribed to, that because we differ in opinion and views, we go to the Supreme Court, and when they make a determination, we are all bound by it. The Supreme Court has given you a backing that you can go ahead to do it. So when I heard, I'm sorry, my brothers from the minority raised issues about release of money to the cathedral, I said, if by the decision in the case Bonfe sent to the Supreme Court, if government is 100% sponsoring the building of the National Cathedral, they have done no error. In fact, I raised the issue about the continued support for Hajj, which my brother will attest to me that in some arguments, ideologically, in the Quranic sessions, some believe that if you attend or participate in Hajj under the sponsorship of another person, strictly without
the blessings go to the person.
without certain prescriptions met, it is not even considered a proper Hajj. So there are Muslims who will never accept this government support to embark on Hajj. But that is a more, as I said, ideological and more personal view. But government and state has been doing it.
Virtue ethics.
I raised an issue about it. So it was not just about the National Cathedral. People thought my case was about the National Cathedral. As I've said, and you see that the issues that were to be determined was about the state crossing the permissible line in terms of its relationship.
Maybe you have to put that up, Danny.
Yeah, to its permissible line in terms of relationship with religious people within a secular state, because that is, Ghana's religion is secular. We allow for every believer, including non-believers. So my bottom line is that government ought to own up. At the end of the day, this National Cathedral project, from all that I can put together, is not just a religious facility.
What else do you see?
From what government has said, and I spoke to some consultants within the industry, the place where it's been even put up, there's no better place than there, because national cathedrals around the globe, if you look at the designs and all that, it must fit within a certain space. Parliament, the states, government facilities, it must be there. And of course, the issue about the distraction, we've raised issues about them and all that. But if government decides to do something, it will do it.
But then again, for me, the explanation from government that, oh, we are not going to use state money to do this.
It's proving that is not true.
Because at the time, and even up to now, there's resistance that, look, there are other priorities that you should be focusing our money on. And then gradually it's now metamorphosing into state sponsoring it. So the government used that first excuse to get it started anyway. And then now to say, oh, blackmail the people and say, we have started already, let's finish it.
Well, I don't want to use the word blackmail.
That's why I put it in inverted commas.
But you see, this is the point. And again, it comes back to Ghanaians, sometimes the insincerity with which we converse around issues of national interest. You see, from the very beginning, the idea or the impression was created as if it was churches. Don't forget that a committee was even put up
to go to churches.
And in my suit, we raised an issue about that committee having their office in the Jubilee House. You know what the Supreme Court said? It was not a big deal. They can always relocate it.
Well, but now we know that there's a church directorate at the presidency.
No, but I'm telling you that. You see,
church and diaspora
Johnny, I may have.
First time you're
I may have.
Go to the White House.
See,
these are.
In Ghana, you've seen church directorate.
Please, these examples, and you know why, Obiki.
Try to ridicule everything that happens. It is not fair.
What is ridiculous?
Have you even?
I said there is a church director. Is it correct or not?
Yes, there is.
Beautiful.
And it's so important that we have one.
What is ridiculous about
so
it?
Important.
I mean, the way you put it. The way you put it.
What is ridiculous about it? I asked. He says, so the gentleman...
You have a problem with the state having a check directorate.
OPK.
But you do not have a problem when NDC was in power.
OPK. I think it's Kabila's time. Let's be fair to Kabila. Kabila raised the question about the positioning of the committee having its office at the Jubilee House.
And I'm saying the Supreme Court...
And the Supreme Court said it will be relocated.
That it is not a big deal.
Yes.
It could be relocated.
And that's why I'm saying that. But presently, the relocation has not been done. We actually have a directorate at the presidency.
OPK.
And he sees it as I am not.
Johnny, you know something? You know something?
It's no longer ridiculous.
The problem, Johnny,
yes.
The problem I have is the infidelity to the Constitution by us as a people. You know something?
No.
I'm a Christian, a Seventh-day Adventist. If I become president, and I feel strongly that I want this nation to become a Christian nation or Saturday Sabbath worshiping nation, I don't think I should feel coward or I should feel reluctant about it to put that as an issue before the people through a constitutional amendment. We can do that.
Right.
But until we have done that, fidelity to this constitution says that we are a secular state.
That's correct.
So don't promote one religion over and above another. When I took that matter before the Supreme Court,
is that over 70%.
It's not the president's argument. The Supreme Court of Ghana said that that argument I was advancing was unsustainable to the extent that the Constitution advances and pushes the aspirations of the people. And that 88.8% of us, as at the 2010 last population census report, that's what they used to argue, were 71.2 Christian and 17.6 Muslim. So to that extent, there was nothing wrong for the state to participate in Hajj or support Hajj, for the state to support or put up even the National Cathedral. I'm saying that that decision settles this whole argument.
It does?
Yes, unless it is varied. Burden of judgment, fidelity to the law. And I'm saying that government should grab that and flow with it consistently, that even if you got your communication wrong in the past, now you have got a backing. As for me, my belief is that Ghana is a secular state, and that as a secular state, we were going beyond some permissible lines. The Supreme Court says, you are wrong. until someday in future, the Supreme Court overturning their own decision. That is what is law today. That's all I'm saying. I don't know.
How is it?
Can I get some clarity, if you permit me? I just want to understand if I'm following.
Yes.
So your argument is suggesting that government, by the ruling of the Supreme Court, has every right to spend as they are spending. Now,
however, of course,
they can get the communication right, and come back to say,
and then just to help you,
it should not matter. It should not matter, the conditions of the people and the other areas requiring support as far as the economy of the country is concerned. Once they see this as priority of priorities, whatever amount
has there been a neglect of the other areas of the economy?
I think Sweeney is I address it.
I just gave you the school feeding.
No, bro.
There's neglect there. That's why the caterers are on strike.
Bro, look, let me address it this way.
You want more? The national service people in your office.
Can I?
There's neglect there. There's neglect there.
They've been paid till May.
There's neglect there.
You people, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Where's the neglect?
Okay, they've not been paid till May.
They've been paid till May.
May allowances are paid in June. It's always.
That's what I'm saying. They've received their May allowance.
No, they have not received their May allowance.
Oh, Johnny.
OPK. They have received their April allowance.
And how long did that delay till the May? There's no problem there.
But have they been paid?
How long has...
have they been paid? You make claims on live TV
until
saying that the national service personnel in my office have not been paid their allowance. And I'm telling you that they confirmed to me that they've received their allowance in May. What is wrong with that?
But you see, you can decide
for the benefit of public education
to do the propaganda the way you like. I'm saying the reality of the people.
I think that
the reality of the people will expose you.
You are just in your usual self. I mean this. Early morning propaganda will not help anybody.
Davis, look yourself in the mirror.
This early morning
look yourself in the mirror and you see propaganda.
Anyway, so we have to take a break. We'll return. We'll return after the break. Well, let's know your thoughts and comments there. Some interesting messages already. Ambassador Sampi Ali says, if the 400 years slave castles does not yield the needed tourism revenue, how can a cathedral with such a diabolic history, OPK, where is your manifesto? Where in your manifesto of the MPP did it say National Cathedral? OPK, did you say your mother voted for MPP because the promise to build the cathedral when that was not one of the campaign issues in the 2016 elections? Let's not our political consideration overshadow our national considerations. And he said, hold on, he says, Ambassador says, check how the Nkrumah Mausoleum, which has the best history of Ghana, has been allowed to run down. We're actually reconstructing the. We're actually.
Now the fear is that if you go and put money in.
No, the one who says there's no neglect
will come and tell you that.
But we borrowed money. We borrowed money to fix Nkrumah's legacy. We'll see after the break.
There's no neglect now.
Welcome back and thank you very much indeed for your time. Davis Opoku Ansai is my guest in studio. Is the MP for Empire. So also James Kwabra Bonfe is the managing editor of the National Forum newspaper, and Alassane Sohini is a member of parliament for the Tamale North constituency. Gentlemen, welcome back and thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
In federals of protecting the public best.
But Davis has an apology to make to the people.
What apology?
What apology?
The NSS.
The NSS thing. He has found the truth now, so he will tell the people.
No, all I said was that in May they received their allowance.
Oh.
They received their allowance in May. And as we speak, there hasn't been any delay in the payment of NSS allowance.
Do you want to go there?
No, Johnny, please.
He still has refused to tell the
Do you want to
have
go
they
there?
not been paid?
Even with the evidence shown to him,
you should not have taken the bait.
refusing.
You shouldn't have taken the bait.
Have they not been paid? I mean,
you shouldn't be
you are
taking.
current. You have a lot of friends.
You shouldn't take it.
You have a lot of friends who are receiving
somebody
allowance.
has just sent me an Access Bank detail, yeah,
Okay.
that they received this on the 7th of June
For-
2022
Yesterday.
for the month of April.
Yes.
Okay.
Now,
received
what
for their
is
month of
standard
April.
Yeah.
is that now we're in June.
Yeah.
It should be paid by the middle of July for June. You are in April. It should be paid by the middle of May for April.
Yes.
You are in June. That kind
Now
of
they are
thing.
paying for April.
Now
No,
you are
no,
paying
it's
for
paid May
April
yet.
on the
But-
7th of June, which means that
May is
outstanding.
Yeah.
And this was after
next
they
week-
were
hold
owed
on,
for 4 months.
yes,
So this was
no,
after they were
I
owed for
cannot
4
verify
months.
4 months.
Your
I,
salary hasn't-
I cannot be,
Well,
I cannot verify 4
we
months.
got ours, I think, on the 3rd or 4th of June.
Your May-
but
your
you-
May salary.
Yes.
You see, what usually happens is that the service personnel
Why wouldn't you just apologize
would
and
have to
move
go
on,
and
Davis?
validate.
You will want to do propaganda
validate.
with this too.
So you see,
The validation takes a time.
no,
some
it
time.
depends on the student.
goodness.
If you, the personnel,
The
if you
NSS
did not
people
do
will be
that
upset
on
with
So
time-
some
There
who
may be
validated
delays.
earlier had
Ah,
theirs.
yes,
Oh, okay.
that young lady in my office, she had us. On time.
Which time was that?
But
I'm telling
Johnny,
you,
just on an
she got
important
her
note.
Anyway, let's
him.
proceed, please.
I'm
let's
telling
proceed.
you that as we speak, there hasn't been any delay in the payment of their allowance. In fact, they are now expecting their May allowance, which I am told will be paid to them in the mid of June.
Okay,
Am I lying?
I hear you. Okay, the NSS, me, I'm not a national service personnel, so
You have a lot of friends
We'll
in
leave it
there.
there.
what I know is
Johnny-
what I
But he
told you.
didn't speak
Johnny-
about the caterers.
It's okay.
That one
Johnny-
is not a priority.
Johnny,
The
wait.
fact that schools have been,
Johnny,
Yes, sir.
you know,
he's
tried,
willing to defend the 244 million we have spent on the cathedral.
I tried to limit myself to the issues I took to the Supreme Court. Some of my friends are not comfortable. Let me say this. I didn't go to the Supreme Court to question our participation in Hajj and Cathedral because I felt that it was not the priority or what. No. Or the economic conditions. No. I went on the strength of the Constitution. And the constitutional question, they declined and yet answered it. So I don't want to stretch my tentacles and be everywhere. I didn't go to the Supreme Court to say that we didn't need to build a cathedral because economic situation in the country was bad or it was not a priority. No.
Okay.
I went to question the law. And the law dons decided that you did not come on a murky legal question.
Okay.
Or constitutional provision.
in this,
I'm sorry, let's try and move on.
Anyway, I'm not the one doing
let's-
that.
Yes, so
Yes,
me, absolutely.
If you allow me,
Sweeney misses the studio.
Yeah.
I
I
can
have to
tell.
take my
He
time.
misses the
Sorry.
anchor.
I don't
Let's
act like
let's
the
make
anchor now.
progress. Talk we have is in the news for rejecting his ex-Gratia. I know that around this table, you are yet to receive ex-Gratia because this is your first time in Parliament.
What really is EX-Gratia?
But hopefully you will get an ex-Gratia. So did you get your ex-Gratia too?
Yes, I did.
You've gotten your ex-Gratia. The conversation about Togbe Afede, and I'm sure you've seen the back and forth that his grandstanding, he's dishonest, he's being a hypocrite. The palace has responded and said that, well, there are inconsistencies in the communication. Maybe Daniel will put that up for us. I don't know how that makes you feel, first of all, as an Article 71 holder, beneficiary, getting all these back and forth. Does it put you in a fix?
No, not really. Johnny, if you just permit me,
Right.
Kabila seemed to be very interested in the constitution and in the laws
Right.
of Ghana. I just will want to urge him to also perhaps focus on how these payments that we are talking about and for which some of us have a problem with as far as the cathedral is concerned.
How the monies are flowing in.
How the monies are flowing in without respect to our laws. The fact that you need to have approved this in Parliament in a budget.
Are you suggesting
statement.
that all of
these
all of the
payments that we are
spending,
seeing
over 200 million,
is not, expenditure that has been reported to the people of Ghana through Parliament? Not in any budget. We haven't seen any anywhere. So that for us is a big problem. And I hope that you will want to look at it
Yeah, see that. See what
as far as accountability, yes, you wrote accountability issues.
So
it is important that we
the fact that
but
constitutionally they can do it doesn't mean that they should breach accountability
Exactly.
rules.
Right.
And that's why you are in parliament.
That's why we are raising these things, because we haven't seen it in any of our
So
budget
let's raise
statements.
the accountability issue
We haven't seen
of
it in any of our budgets,
constitutionally.
apart from it being insensitive, given the economic, conditions. It is also not transparent, and we just think that we must raise these issues.
That's
now, on the
unfortunate.
issue,
if that's really the
yes,
case,
that's
it's
the case.
unfortunate.
Now, none of them has been able to point to any budget expenditure in any of the budgets that they have presented, where it was stated
200 million.
Yeah, about 200 million has been spent already without, the people of Ghana knowing.
So someone, we have a chieftaincy and religious affairs minister. Someone, the person
Well,
to
we have actually filed questions for the Minister of Finance to come and answer. It's the finance minister who has issued the warrant. So he's the one that we have summoned to appear before Parliament. So I'm sure that when he does,
it's a legitimate call, and you should be ready for the answer.
Go
now,
forward.
on the issue of EX-Gratia,
right? But before you go, you've received yours?
Yes, I have.
In the last Parliament, for example, how much was the consideration for this new one?
I don't mind telling you, but I don't think that it is fair on my other colleagues.
No, it's public knowledge.
No, I mean, I don't think. Yes, it's public knowledge.
Information.
So it is public. I honestly don't mind sharing.
Yes,
but mine will mean that it's not about me.
Yeah.
It's about 275 of my colleagues who are no longer in Parliament.
The people are listening.
I understand. Like you said, it's public knowledge.
You know the effect of
it's public knowledge.
Allow me to do
No, it is public knowledge. Let me finish. It's public knowledge, like you have said. So you can get the figures from.
But you are my brother. If you have information, share.
So that's why I can share with you off air.
Oh, how?
Because you are my brother.
For the benefit.
No, because you are my brother. But if I share it publicly, then I'll be sharing information that I do not have permission of others to share. Do you understand? But let's not miss the point.
I know.
In this discussion.
You come back to Toby Afede.
Yes, let's talk about Toby Afede.
I'm just interested in. I can borrow some time from my boss. I'll call him and borrow some more time. I'm just interested in this conversation. What is so secretive about it that it cannot be said?
Johnny, it's just you see, it's just about salaries. I mean, nobody really, not everybody. I won't say nobody. Not everybody is comfortable to disclose his salary in public.
Right.
Not everybody.
Is it 200,000? Is it?
No, I'm saying that.
But your salaries are no.
Johnny, well, I'm saying that you here on TV3, it's not fair to say that you should bring all your reporters to tell us how much they earn.
Because I don't draw from
Some
the
may do
taxpayers'
that.
money.
But you see, it is a natural thing. Even the public servants, civil servants, if you take a camera out today, and then you start asking, how much do you earn? How much do you earn? You are likely to get some people who will not tell
Because their salaries are small.
well, who tells you that what I receive is big?
Same as members of Parliament.
No, who tells you that? Johnny, who tells you that?
I won't mention, but
Johnny,
I'm sure that
I know
people.
In fact, I know people in private sector, even in media, who take more than MPs in terms of salary,
Yes.
but they will still not disclose their salary.
Right.
Do you get the point? So it's not about the quantum. If you say their salaries are small, that's why they won't disclose.
Toby Afede says
I'm
he
telling
got
you. So let us not miss the point.
65,392 Ghana cedis, 67 pesos.
Johnny, so that's what I want
That
us
he
to
is convinced
discuss.
was wrongly paid.
That
to
is
him.
what I want us to
then
discuss, Johnny.
the law disagrees with him.
Johnny, so that's what I
According to
want
which-
us to discuss, because you see,
Article
the
71.
problem with us is that sometimes we dwell on the minors and we miss an opportunity to transform.
Oh, but you think that is a minor. We want to know this EX-Gratia, for example, 2021, that was agreed. How much did each MP receive? It's a simple question.
Like you said, it's a public
A
document.
servant of the people should be able to share
Like
that
you said, it's a public document. It is in the report, so you
It's
can
okay.
find
Let's
it
not
and
belabor it.
share it with your viewers if you want.
Let's not belabor
Yeah,
it.
but-
You don't want to be the one saying it.
Exactly. I don't have a problem, but because of the sensitivities of
right.
my other colleagues, I don't think it is fair. And it's not because it's too much. That's why I can't share it.
Right. I get
It's not because
I
it's
get
too
you.
much. But
You don't have their permission to
exactly. You see, Johnny, I respect what Toby Afede has done.
share. Why?
Because, I mean, as member of Council of State, they are advisors to the president. And he thinks that whatever emolument was given him when he was advising the president and the government was enough. And anything extra, he finds, inappropriate. And he returns it to the state. We have had ministers of states in this country who have bragged about how they never took salary whilst they were in office. So it's really no news. And it is something that I respect. Whether the person is entitled to it or not is another matter. But if he decides that even if you claim that I am entitled to it, I am saying it's inappropriate for me to take it. We have to respect that decision. The people who did not take salaries whilst they were ministers, were not doing so because the law was, against their taking of salary. But they just decided. They just decided that, they would rather not take it. So I respect his decision. But what really is ex-gratia?
Okay.
In the frame of things, or in the context of the news reports, what is ex-gratia?
What is it? Tell me.
Now, Johnny, today, as a member of the 8th Parliament of Ghana, I am receiving salary. Davis is receiving salary of the 7th Parliament.
Okay. Because it's yet to be agreed.
Because the government, we together came up with this constitution.
Okay.
And we said that the salaries of some officers should be determined by a president forming a committee. Okay. I didn't propose it. He did it.
In the constitution.
It's in the constitution.
That's right.
That the president should form a committee at the beginning of his tenure to determine the salaries of certain officers.
That's right.
Now, over the years, we have not forced our presidents to do it early.
Why?
Not to do it.
I don't know. You and I should ask that a question. Over the years, we have allowed our president to do it as and when they like, especially when they are exiting office.
But
so until it is done, people occupy the offices, and those people will have to take salary.
But how is it that
on account?
So how is it that we insist on State of the Nation address, Article 67?
Yeah.
We insist on mid-year budget review. We insist on budget presentation. We insist on all other stuff. But this particular one, we don't insist on it.
Go and look at the Hansard in Parliament. Over the years, members of Parliament, different members of Parliament from different sides of the political divide have called on presidents to institute the committee on time.
And they have not listened.
If the public, or it is not reported as an urgent matter government must work on when it comes, just as it is done with SONA and budgets, you can't really blame the parliamentarian who raised these issues and demand that the committee be set up so that salaries are determined.
What effect would they have?
So if I don't finish the explanation, some people, maybe you understand, but others out there may not get it.
Right.
So because we haven't been setting up these committees early, what happens is that when you enter office, you are told to take the salary of the previous...
Right, on AC, waiting for it to be upgraded.
Do you understand? So you take salaries of, those who are succeeding. So inflation comes, they don't care. You are still taking that salary. Workers get 4%, 6% every year. You don't get it. You are still waiting. Do you understand? So when the committee is finally set up by the president, and then they determine that you should have been taking 600 Ghana when you were taking 500 Ghana, then they say that for the number of years you have not taken 600 Ghana,
the balance is given.
The balance of 100 Ghana times the number of years that you have served is now accumulated and given to you. That's ex-gratia.
Oh, okay.
That is what they call ex-gratia. So if we want, and I believe we should, advocate against ex-gratia, we must insist that presidents, when they are sworn in, the first thing they do is set up a committee that will determine the salaries of ministers and parliamentarians and judges. That's the way to get away to stop paying ex-gratia to people. So I go into parliament and I know that as I am taking the oath, my salary is 1,000, 2,005. So at the end of my 4 years, government doesn't owe me anything. I walk away. Let's do it. And we'll save ourselves all this
What effect would
trouble
that
and
achieve?
misunderstanding and misconception.
All this conversation about whether we have money to pay will end if we do what you're asking?
I didn't get the question.
What effect will, if you like, the president at the beginning of his tenure set up the committee to determine the salaries from the get-go? What effect will they have?
The effect it may have will be that government will no longer have to pay it as a lump sum. Do you understand? So that, I mean, if perhaps, so that the effect will be less. Because if government is paying me 1,200 every month, it may be less impactful on government budget if it pays me 1,000 every month and then waits to pay me 200 times 4 years.
Okay.
You know, that impact is where, when it's taken at once, then the whole is created and the impact is felt.
I see.
So I'm saying that, along the line, what we need to do to resolve this matter is that we must set up this emoluments committee on time. Right from start. So nobody is paid on account. And when there is an increment in salaries, agitations by workers for 4%, for 6% increment or 12%, we also all will agitate at the same time and say that, we also need a review. Just like workers need a review. You also, and then you can look at it and either take the request or not.
I hear you.
I think that is the way to resolve this matter moving forward.
What are your thoughts?
But I respect what Toby Afede has done.
You
There's
respect
simply nothing wrong with that. People have worked without taking salary in the public sector before. So if he took part, but he says that the extra you are giving me, I don't want it. It's respect. It's fair.
Well, just like Shoini, that's Toby Afede's personal decision, and I think we all must respect it. My only challenge is that, some of these computations, whilst they are being taken, you are informed about it. It was a member of the Council of State, it sat for these decisions to be taken, and then money is paid to you. It gets to a point where you would want to return them. But that's his personal decision, and I think we all must respect that. But you see, anytime issues of EX-Gratia is discussed, especially in Ghana, irrespective of where or which angle people are taking it from, the bashing now ends with members of parliament. And the impression is created as if MPs are taking some huge monies home and all of that. And I'm happy what Shuhini just said. Probably, we need to restructure salaries and emoluments of Article 71 holders. I think the time is now that we do that. And if a special committee will be set up to do that, because I really do not see how and why an Article 71 holder would be receiving some, in terms of logistics-wise, right. Somebody would get vehicles and others would be giving loans to take. Charlie, if I tell you the constraint on my salary, the car loan, just the car loan alone, and you see, as members of parliament, we share our salaries with our constituents. Yesterday, I was in the constituency. A woman had to undergo surgery. I had to pay 10,000 cedis just to support a surgery.
And how much is your salary?
How much is your salary?
But
you need to do it because virtually everybody, there's a video in circulation in my constituency and everybody is sending it to the member of parliament to do something because you are the person whose face is on the ballot each year. You understand? So, we need to critically look at what members of parliament take.
Right.
Vis-a-vis that of other Article 71 holders. So that, there will be some bit of balance.
I see. Kabila, you have the final word on this. And I've been mulling some thoughts about the fact that, for example, the Council of State, we did the permutations. We're getting about 11,327,172. 77
just for council of
if they all decided that look, we are not interested.
So that's the lump sum I'm talking about, right. And the impact on government budget when it is taken at once
immediately.
Yeah.
We also do know that government, for example, has said that members of the executive and appointees will have a 30% salary slash the Council of State itself has said that they would have a 20% salary slash or allowance slash. That's huge money, even though we don't know where exactly the money is going and what purpose it will be used for. But then again, if you look at the structure of the Council of State, the Chief Justice retires on his or her salary. IGP on his or her salary. CDS on his or her salary. They get their cap 30 all right. They go home with their pension. Can we, for example, have a situation where these statesmen or elder statesmen serve on Council of State and necessarily don't have to take anything because they have drawn from the consolidated funds long enough?
No, but already,
is it feasible?
Already constitutionally, the Council of State must have some a former Chief Justice,
right,
former IGP.
That's what I'm saying, that they retire on their salaries. They are drawing already from Cap 30. They already have the wherewithal.
These conversations have been had over and over again. And I just want to say that the law is as good as the people who are called upon to obey or administer it. If the people are bad, the best of laws will look bad. We are not sincere with ourselves. If you look at the computation as you have done, you miss the point.
Which is?
Because not all the people who have been elected into these positions are of the same economic standing.
Right.
And as Suhini mentioned, even though I was unhappy with his use of the word brag, Dr. Adofo, throughout his term as finance minister, didn't draw salary.
Right.
But they have
No, but it is known.
No, I'm not talking about him.
Yeah, I knew you were not talking about him.
He's not the only one. Others have also bragged about
others.
it.
The current finance minister, which I'm sure is the one you are using
can't
the word.
decide for me. I'm just saying they are bragging, whoever it is.
But so the point is this, that it is not the isolated incidents of individual actions that matter. Up to date, the last committee that was set up was a Professor Ntiamwa Bedu committee.
Yeah.
If you read their report, they made certain suggestions. And we need to, and maybe Parliament, you can float that idea. Let's have a single committee that will look at all salaries nationwide.
That's what I am for. Yeah.
So that it is not as if
any president comes and he sets up, let's just have one.
Let's have one body
determining all salaries.
Determining salaries, wages, and commissions, so that we don't feel that a certain class of people are segregated and dealt with.
I'll ask you a final question. The people are told to sacrifice. What are our leaders sacrificing?
Well, that is a question for the leaders to answer.
No, you are a leader of this country too. You're a big man.
I am
General Secretary of the whole political party.
Johnny, I'm sitting on this show in this prime time of the morning as a contribution to nation building. I'm not paid for coming on your set.
Right.
Am I?
Right.
Elsewhere, you know that for appearing as a resource person is something.
You get free advertisement for the National Forum. It's mentioned every day and every day.
That's a good one. But
we're sacrificing to build a national cathedral for you.
What I need us all to understand is that as a people, I think that this country, we have a lot of good in us. Right. Unfortunately, we are not listening to ourselves. Let's patiently listen to each other.
Do you know what the people think? They think that when it comes to money at the top, you both agree. Both sides agree. When it comes to their suffering, you don't agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fair, assessment of issues. And that is perhaps where the advice Kabila gave comes in handy. When we listen to ourselves more,
right,
I think that we will get to understand why there may be similarities in issues that are not the same.
But
I have always said that the problem we have in this country is nuances. A lot of us don't consider nuances in issues.
I hear you.
You know, if a matter comes up and then they look similar, we conclude they are the same.
Okay.
Johnny, I'm
Alassane Suhini is a member of Parliament for the Tamale North constituency. Also, James Kwabena Bonfe is the.
Did I hear that the minority is still talking about election 2020 results?
What is your problem?
Well, you should look for the Ahoy's book.
I want to show you something.
You are doing free advert now. You see, you are benefiting. Bicycle so fast.
You projected.
Davis Opoku and San is member of Parliament for Imperial. So yes.
3 News just reported reported that there hasn't been delay in payment of national service allowance.
Go beyond the headline. Go beyond the headline.
Read
But I thank them.
Journalists
for that.
read the story. The headline.
I are still doing propaganda with this
Happy
matter.
birthday to Prophet Gideon Ankra. This from your son Cecil. It says happy birthday. Also happy birthday to a few kind people. Let me fetch the names quickly. To research assistant Mr. Saka Suleiman. This is from Honorable Hajia Zuera Mohammed Ibrahim, MP for Salaga South. Happy birthday also to Leila, Chief Executive Officer of Lay's Collections inside North Legon. It's your birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Also, happy birthday to Ama Jesua Konedu and White and Kwame JC Konedu White. May the good Lord bless you. This is from Ebenezer White, your dad. Happy birthday also to Efua Nkone Amfo, Mrs. Efua Nkone Amfo, wife of Brighton and Amfo. You are at the Asamankesi Government Hospital. It's your birthday today, Efua. Happy birthday to you, Efua Nkone Amfo, wife of my senior colleague. And Kojechu Mbwafo sends this one. He says, no, it's to OPK. Is OPK telling us that his own mother was oblivious to the fact that he was standing elections to be an MP, but chose a promise that hadn't been made as a reason to vote for the NPP? Why are we changing the story? This is Akufo-Addo's personal covenant to God. That means he should have used his own land and head. Kabila, Senior Ben sends this one of my friends. He says, be careful how you defend them, or they don't care about you. But later in business, 4:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. on News 360, we'll tell you why more oil marketing companies are almost folding up. Also, did you know that many OMCs for our population hang in the balance? We'll tell you some more. We'll share people's experiences at the fuel stations with you as fuel prices keep rising. And we'll tell you the implications of labor agitation for salary increase. All of that at 4:30 p.m. and 7 p.m. My name is Johnny Hughes. We'll see you after the break. The small conversation here on you. We'll see you after the break.